Hello, welcome to 15minuteguitar.com. My name's Rich, and in today's lesson we're going to look at the classic Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. We're going to learn the intro section, and I'm going to play you through the intro so you can see what you're going to learn in the lesson. Okay, so a quick brief history on the riff. I believe Slash wrote this riff as a finger exercise initially because it's great for string skipping and your alternate picking practice. So that's the technique you're going to be looking at today in the lesson. I believe that Axel heard the riff and then thought, what was that sort of thing? You know, that's really, really cool. And Slash initially didn't like the riff, and I think he said on camera that he doesn't actually like that song. It's one of his least favourite songs, but one of their biggest hits. So we'll break down the riff. I've already played it to you in the intro, and I'll break it down now into chunks for you. So our first note of the riff is fret number 12 on the D string with our first finger. We pick that one. There's a down stroke on that one, down pick. We then jump across with our third finger. Now this is where it's important with the choice of fingers. We're going to use fingers 1, 2 and 3 for this whole riff. And probably it would be better to use finger 4, but I know from watching the video Slash actually uses fingers 1, 2 and 3. So we're going to do it really authentically. So we start with finger 1 on the D string, fret 12. Then we jump across to fret 15 on the B string with our third finger. The first pick is a down pick, the second pick is an up pick on the 15 of the B string, so it's down, up, and we're going to alternate between the whole riff. So alternate picking is just basically where you go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and keep that going. So we go 12 on the D, 15 on the high on the B string. I'm going to use our third finger for that, so I used the wrong one, so use your third finger. And then we're going to do 14 on the G string with our second finger. 12 with the first finger on the G string. Then we jump across to the high E string, fret 15 with the third finger. Back to 14 with the second finger on the G string. 14 on the high E string with the third finger. And then back to second finger, fret 14 on the G string. And we do that phrase twice. So, nice and slowly for you. You might find it a little bit difficult to string skip. You probably have to get used to that and practice that. But you're doing down, up, down, up, down, up, and jumping across the strings at the same time. So it's a difficult riff to get used to. The next part of the riff, the second part of it stays the same, but the first note changes. So all you need to do, instead of doing fret 12 now with the first finger, we do fret 14 on the D string, and we do that with our second finger. But the rest of the riff stays the same, okay? So it'll be 14 on the D string, then the rest of it's exactly the same, but I'll explain it again. So finger 3 on fret 15 of the B string, finger 2, fret 14 of the G string, finger 1, fret 12 of the G string, and then on the high E string, fret 15 with your third finger, and then back to 14 with the second finger on the G string, 14 on the high E with the third finger, and then 14 on the G again with the second finger. And we do that twice again, so. Okay, so we put the two together. We got 2 on the 12th fret of the D. Then 2 on fret 14 of the D string. Now the last part, we go with the first finger on the G string on fret number 12, and then all the rest stays the same. It's 2 cycles of that, and then back to the first one. And that is the Sweet Child of Mine intro riff. Okay, there's some key points to remember to get this track sounding authentic. Ideally, you want to practice along with a metronome because the string skipping and the alternate picking parts that we do on the intro are quite tricky to play. I would suggest starting around 60 beats per minute and then taking it up by 10 BPM each time until you get the technique sounding clear. Some apps to get online. There's a Pro Metronome app which is completely free. You can download that free on iPhone and Android. Or if you can get a pedal format or one of the old wooden sort of tick-tock machines, that will be absolutely fine. But you need to start around 60 beats per minute and work your way up to 120. I'll just demonstrate this at 60 beats per minute. Okay, so don't forget, take that up by 10 BPM at a time, and don't rush that process, take it nice and slow. You might be at 60 beats per minute for a little while until you get the technique right with the right hand and the left hand matching up together, and then take it up 70, 80, 90 and take yourself up to the track speed of 120 beats per minute. Okay, so the second point we want to talk about is getting the correct tone for this track. Slash is known for using a Les Paul style guitar. Anything Les Paul or anything with a humbucker is going to get you somewhere near to that tone. Ideally not a Strat unless it's loaded with a humbucker pickup, but anything with a humbucker and a Les Paul style guitar is going to get you somewhere near that ballpark sort of sound of Slash. You want to be on the rhythm pickup, so on the neck pickup if it's a Strat type guitar, but on the rhythm pickup. Amp wise, Slash is known for using a Marshall, which we're using here today. I'm using a Marshall Jubilee. I'm set to the overdrive channel. You can be on any amplifier, just set it to the overdrive channel of the amp. And then effects wise, what I'm using today is a little bit of reverb, a touch of delay, and then just straight into the overdrive channel of the amp. The overdrive, I'm using this from the amp. You could use it from a pedal as well if you wanted to, so you could use like a Tube Screamer type overdrive to create that sound if you haven't got an overdrive channel on your amp. The effects I'm using, so I said the ones I'm using today are MXR reverb and an MXR carbon copy, and that's going straight into the amp as I said there. Now to look at the verse section of Sweet Child O' Mine, I'll play you through the chords and then I'll break it down for you. Okay, so the first chord you're going to need is a D major. We play this with our second finger on the second fret of the high E string. Our third finger is on the third fret of the B string, and our first finger is on the second fret of the G string. The rhythm pattern for this is going to be down, down, up, up, down, up. Sounds like this. The second chord we're going to use, and we're going to try and keep our third finger where he is and take off our second and first. Going to move those. You're going to put your second finger down on the third fret of the A string and your first finger down on the second fret of the D string, and add your forefinger, your little pinky finger, on the third fret of the high E string. And again, same pattern on that. Down, down, up, up, down, up. Then we move to our G chord, where we want to keep our third and fourth fingers planted down on the B and the E strings at fret 3. And I'm going to move my second and first fingers up onto the E and the A strings. My second finger wants to be on the third fret of the E string, and my first finger wants to be on the second fret of the A string, and that's our G chord. Okay, in terms of cycle on this, how many times you play each of the patterns, you're going to do down, down, up, down, up, twice on the D chord, twice on the C add 9, twice on the G, and then back to once on the D to finish off. If I play you through that so you can hear that, it goes like this. Okay, and that's the verse section to Sweet Child of Mine. Next section we want to look for is the chorus section. On the chorus section, you probably want to change to an overdrive sound on your amp, so flip channels. On this part we're going to play some power chords, so we're going to play an A5 power chord, a C5 power chord, and then back to a D major chord. So I'll play that for you now. Okay, so as you can see the rhythm's changed now. On the A5 power chord, which I use my first finger barred across here, so I'm gonna go open A string, and then I've got my first finger barred across the second fret of the D and the G string. So I'm barring those two strings there, and I'm muting the rest of them with the first finger just led ever so slightly down there. So I hit two of those down, so in between that I rest my hand on the strings to mute them in between, so we get the separation between the two strums. So instead of mute in between, so we separate the strums. Then we move up to a C5 power chord. Now we're going to use our first, third and fourth fingers to create this power chord. First finger is on the 3rd fret of the A string, third finger is on the 5th fret of the D string, and your fourth finger is on the 5th fret of the G string. And then the tip of my first finger is touching the E string to keep that muted. Also my first finger is muting the the B and the E strings. So if I accidentally hit them, we don't get this. Nice chord, but not what we want in this song. So you want to be muting there. So some clever muting with the first finger keeps the E muted and the B and the E strings. And that sounds like this. Same rhythm as before. So we do strum, mute, strum. Okay? And then we go back to our D chord and back to our pattern that we did before. So the down, down, up, down, up. So that whole cycle of the chorus sounds like this. And that concludes the chorus section of Sweet Child of Mine. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at 50 Minute Guitar. Like us on Facebook. And here are your takeaway tasks for your practice. So, as we said earlier, you want to start at 60 beats per minute and build it up by 10 beats per minute each time until you get fast enough, which is to track speed, which is about 120 beats per minute. You want to practice your string skipping, so jumping across the strings, and you can do that just by sort of picking it really slowly, or not even sort of picking it and just using your fingers, doing that, sort of jumping across the strings like that, just a bit of an exercise. And also, don't forget that you're going to be doing alternate picking as well, so just practice doing the down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But the key to this is doing it really, really slowly and just gradually building up to the track speed. Okay, I'm going to play you out now with the whole part of what you've learned so far, the intro, the verse and the chorus.